All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a pretty interesting project that's trying to build a bridge between the wild world of cryptocurrency and good old-fashioned charitable giving. It's called GenaImpact, and it's all based on this idea they call the natural loop. So let's dive in and see what that's all about. You know, this whole thing really boils down to one simple but kind of profound question. Can a meme token, something usually associated with hype and speculation, actually be used to do some real, tangible good in the world? And the project's founder doesn't beat around the bush. They put it right out there with this quote. This is their identity. It's about taking a concept we all know in the crypto space, the meme token, and giving it a whole new job. And honestly, this one sentence really sets the stage for everything else we're going to cover. Okay, so a meme token with a mission. It sounds great, right? But how does it actually work? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. The whole point here is to create this direct pipeline from the crypto community over to real-world causes that need support. The token, which has the ticker GNIM, is supposed to be that connection. But how do you actually build that bridge? Well, let's follow the money.
Everything has to start somewhere, and for this project, it all begins with the donation. So let's take a look at how a contribution gets from a person's wallet to a cause on the ground.
You know, the process for donating is actually refreshingly simple. They take the usual crypto suspects like Ether and USDC, but they also accept regular fiat money. That's a big deal, because it means you don't have to be a crypto degen to participate. And here's the really crucial part. The money goes directly to verified causes. The GenaImpact platform is just the middleman that makes the transaction happen.
So you make a donation, a cause gets funded. Great. But what about you, the donor? What do you get? This is where the token itself finally enters the picture.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up the token's main job. The founder says its number one purpose isn't to be a speculative asset. No, it's meant to be a permanent, verifiable record on the blockchain that says, hey, I helped out. Think of it like a digital receipt, but one that's public, permanent, and can't be faked. Okay, so what can you actually do with this proof of support? Well, you've got a few options. You can just hodl them in your wallet, simple as that. The roadmap says that eventually you'll be able to stake them, which usually means locking them up to earn some kind of reward. And this is key. You can also trade them on the open market. And that is where this loop starts to get really interesting.
And that brings us to the core engine of this entire system, what they call the natural loop. It's a clever idea, really. It's designed to create this self-powering cycle where doing good and market activity actually help each other out.
Now, to really get the loop, we first have to quickly define a term you hear all the time in DeFi. Liquidity pool, or LP. Don't let the name scare you. Just think of it as a big pot of money, a pool of tokens that lets people buy and sell instantly. It's what creates a market for a token. And for this system, it's an absolutely critical piece of the puzzle. Here's where the incentive really kicks in. If you're an early supporter who donates, you get your GEM tokens at what works out to be about 1 cent per token. The plan, though, is to launch the liquidity pool, the public market, with a starting price of 3 cents. So right out of the gate, the earliest believers are rewarded for their support, giving their donation a bit of an immediate financial upside.
And yeah, that 3-cent number is the key. By setting a public launch value from day one, the project gives the token an instant market presence and a clear starting point for everyone to see.
So let's walk through the whole loop one more time. Step 1, you donate, and that money goes to a real cause. Step 2, in return, you get GNIM tokens as your proof of support. Step 3, the project uses funds to create that liquidity pool, giving the token real market value. And that leads us to Step 4. If people get interested and start trading the token, that demand could create more buzz, encouraging new people to donate to causes, which starts the whole cycle all over again. And that's it. That's the natural loop.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the project's overall philosophy, because there's some really important context here. Now, to their credit, the project is very upfront about the rules of the game. First, they make it crystal clear. GNIM is not a security. They keep calling it a meme token with a mission for a reason. And just like any other donation you'd make, it's totally voluntary and it's non-refundable. In the crypto space, being this direct about the terms is, well, it's everything.
So what's the big takeaway here?
Beyond all the tokenomics and loops, the real goal is to prove a point. The whole system we just went through is basically a big public experiment. It's an attempt to prove that you can design a cryptocurrency from the ground up to create a positive impact in the real world. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? GenaImpact is mixing together charity and market forces in a really new way. So is this a genuinely new model for how we do philanthropy? Or is it just another form of crypto speculation just dressed up in a feel-good mission? I guess the answer really depends on whether that natural loop can actually keep spinning on its own.